All right, if I am not mistaken, we should be live. So, everyone, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you are all doing well. Today we're going to be doing a MicroCasting St. Louis Q&A. I want to see what you guys have, the questions that you have, and I'll do my very best to answer them. And, so let's get started. So, yeah, there's not much in the events of weather, at least in the St. Louis metro area, that we have to talk about tonight. But something that we do have that we could talk about tonight is some weather in other areas. So if that is ever really a concern, I can talk about that. I'd be more than glad to talk about that. But yeah, everyone, welcome to the live stream. And I think that let's just have some fun. So here we are. I am right now just waiting for the first question to come on in. And whenever that does, now I can start answering them. So, yeah, alright. Alright. Cardinal fan saying, hi Thomas. I say hi back. How are you doing? Welcome to the Q&A here. I actually have something prepared, so that way, if I do need to make any visualizations, I should have that. So, let me actually, I guess, just show my face a little bit. Here and just say hi, everyone. Welcome. I currently have actually Paint 3D open, so if there are any visualizations needed, I can sure do that. So if anyone wants me to explain out something forms, I definitely have that ready to go. So yeah, just everyone, welcome to the live stream. I apologize. I just got something right here. But yeah, everyone, just welcome and hi. Tonight's been not too eventful here. Hopefully, though, we do have some topics to talk about. So, I think that something that we can just talk about right now when we were waiting is actually a hurricane here that happened back in 2015. If we'd like to, I apologize. I'm gonna have to go over here, pull that up. And hopefully I can do that. Alright, Cardinal fan asking, do you think this hurricane season is the worst one yet? If not, what is? That's a good question. This hurricane season's been not too great in the grand scheme of things. We've already had Irma, we've already had Harvey, we've already had Maria, we've already had Jose, and now we have Philippi going up, likely to hit Florida here. So, yeah, this has been a pretty bad season. I don't think, well, maybe I do. It's right in between. I'm not sure if this is the worst one. It's between this hurricane season and 2005. So, it's either going to be, this hurricane season or 2005. 2005 was the year of many infamous hurricanes, those being Hurricanes Katrina, Wilma, Dennis, Emily, those hurricanes. Those were all back in 2005, Rita as well. Lots of famous hurricanes back then. I'm not sure. This could be one of the costliest seasons that we've had. All right. By the way, I am Andrew. Well, hi, Andrew. I'm not sure if this is the worst hurricane season yet, but it's up there. It's pretty close. I'm not sure which I'd give it to. 2017 versus 2005. That's a pretty difficult one. But I can look back in history a little bit for you if you would like. Hyperfire saying it can't be the worst one. Well, Hyperfire, you are kind of mistaken. This could be the worst one that we've had in the Atlantic Ocean. We'll just have to see. But yeah, a lot of damage here going on. But yeah, this is just a bad situation in general. But here we are, just a second. I will be back. All right, hello? All right, my apologies. Something was just going on there. But yeah, any questions? Here we are, some kid saying hi. Well, hi back, some kid. We're going to be getting down to business here with this. Just a sec. 5 people watching. Thank you so much. Any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm actually just going to get something. Here, I want to be able to see the live chat better without having to go back here. Oh, I'm sorry, Hyper Reviews. Called you Hyperfire, because that's what you used to be. But now you are Hyper Reviews. But yeah, thanks to all 5 of you for watching. Alvin's Hot Juice Box. Why? Why must this be put on my live stream? I don't know. But it's fine anyway. Phone interruptions, lol. Yes, life happens. But yeah, I guess that while we are waiting for some more questions, I'll just pull this up for you. This is Hurricane Patricia of back in 2015. This is actually by far the strongest hurricane of all time. Sorry, I gotta move something out of the way. Get some things re-propped so that way I can just get things moved properly. But yeah, this is Hurricane Patricia back in 2015. So let's just get started while, well, just getting ready. Hyper Reviews says, shut up. Thanks, Hyper Reviews. But yeah, let's go over Hurricane Patricia's life, I guess, while we just wait. So this is Hurricane Patricia before it was a hurricane. This is actually, it is a tropical storm. And Tropical Storm Patricia, it wouldn't actually be overly organized, especially at first, and most tropical cyclones aren't, but you can see here, this is when it starts to become better organized. And this is headed in the trajectory of Mexico. At this point, it's forecasted to be about a Category 3 hurricane. What is your opinion on traps? I do not know what you are talking about. I apologize. If you could elaborate a little bit more on that fact, that would be great. But yeah, I apologize. I do not know in what context you're talking about of traps. All right. Well, getting into, well, more of Hurricane Patricia. This is probably when it became a Category 1 hurricane. And as a Category 1 hurricane, this was a pretty strong hurricane. And you can see a lot of that strong. All right, some kid, do the questions need to be weather related? Preferably so. I guess if you have a question that's not weather related that you'd like to hear my opinions on, I'm fine with that, but I prefer them to be weather related. All right, why are there elements? That is a science question, that is correct, but I guess I'll explain that. It's because some atoms have more protons than others. Yay. Okay, done with that. And that is why they're different. So, yeah, let's get back to Hurricane Patricia. Hurricane Patricia, this was when it probably became a Category 2 or 3. You can see that eye starting to pop out there. Very strong thunderstorms around it. And it's a very large storm. And if this wanted to get stronger, it would need to kind of consolidate a little bit. And hurricanes are science. Yes! Yes, Hyper Reviews. Hurricanes are science. What's not weather-related, but it's still science, is why are there elements, which is what you said. But, you know, life happens. Getting back to Patricia while we're waiting for some more questions. Here we are with, well, now it would be a major hurricane, Category 3, probably around winds of 125 miles per hour if I had to guess, because of the north and south. What do you think the most powerful hurricane of all time is? Cardinal Fan asks. Well, Cardinal Fan, that is what I'm going over right now. This is the most powerful hurricane of all time, Hurricane Patricia. And you can see here, this is it. It's not at its most powerful yet. I'll be sure to let you know. But this is Patricia when it was starting to become in its more powerful phase. As you can see, northern and southern sides filled with thunderstorms. And as soon as the center just gets a little bit more thunderstorm activity around it, this thing will be able to flourish. And this is back in 2015. So then this was it when it became a Category 4. You can see this southern part, no longer a part of Patricia, but you can see a lot of things. Like me, I'm different and I don't have any friends. Hyper reviews. You know, I'm gonna call you Hyperfire. Okay. And some kid saying same. All right. Well, let's get back to, okay, hashtag relatable. What about Typhoon Tip, Cardinal Fan asks. Well, that's when we get into a lot more science. So, Hurricane Patricia was the most powerful in wind speed. Typhoon Tip was the most powerful in barometric pressure. So, and I guess Patricia might be more powerful than it now in barometric pressure. It depends on what you're saying. So we'll go over what Tip is better than Patricia at and what Patricia is better than Tip at. So Tip had the lowest barometric pressure ever recorded in recorded history. Did get up to 185 miles per hour in wind speed, so a very powerful typhoon. And it was much larger than Patricia. It was a gigantic storm. If you had Patricia here, this is about the size that Tip was. So Tip was much larger, much more powerful in that sense and what it did to Japan. And its barometric pressure got down to like 871 hectopascals. That is very low. That is the lowest pressure in recorded history. Patricia got winds of 215 miles an hour, so it blows Tip out of the water in wind speed. Patricia, though, did not have as low of a pressure, down to like 890 or so. Hyper reviews saying, I hate you. Okay, that's great. And yes, I know Hyper reviews personally, so it's all fun and games. I hate myself. Some kid, don't hate yourself, man. Everyone is great in their own special way. But, yeah, Typhoon Tip, much larger. Patricia had a much higher wind speed, although its pressure did not get quite as low. Getting back to Patricia now, well, this was it when it really became a Category 5. This was it when it blew up. It really blew up here, and you can see now yellow. This is very cold cloud tops. That's what we measure these in, is temperature. And this is really where we're at with it. You can see that just, well, all the convection surrounding it. You can see that eye starting to pop out. But yeah, definitely a Category 5. Probably winds at 165 miles per hour at this point. Here's the storm when the eye does pop out. You can see that little itty bitty eye, and you can see this is probably still a Category 5, despite the yellow not completely surrounding it anymore. That eye does compensate for it, and the structure is looking better and better. You can see the thunderstorm coverage is very even throughout the central dense overcast. Here's Patricia when it really started to blow up like into the most powerful storm ever. You can see now that yellow's starting to come around it again. You can see equatorward outflow, a very strong equatorward outflow, meaning that it's pulling lots of energy in from there. And then you can also see headed down south, headed down south from the north is some inflow from the Gulf of Mexico. So this did have quite a few options to get its energy. Alright, well, if you do have any questions or comments, please put those in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Getting back to Hurricane Patricia, though, this was it when it got to be one of the most, serious storms ever. This was when it probably hit 190 miles per hour. So, 190. Just think about that. If you look, here's what we see. Number 1, yellow completely surrounding the thing. Number 2, a small pinhole eye, so very fast winds. Number 3, very warm sea surface temperatures under there. This is a very, 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 very kind of thing. You like jazz, some kid says. Well, I like jazz. Yes, I like some jazz. Some good jazz is some good music. Um, yeah, I actually have a trombone that I play. So, yeah, um, that's a thing. But yeah, this is Patricia as it's getting strong, 190 miles an hour. Let's put that into context. A EF5 tornado has winds of 200 miles per hour. Oh, how about Dean? Hyper Reviews asks. Well, if that's what you'd like me to go over next, I will go over Hurricane Dean. Hurricane Dean was a monstrous storm. Very monstrous. Gigantic. Category 5. Hit the Yucatan Peninsula. Was just a devastating situation overall. But yeah, I'll go over Dean next. But let's put those 190 mile per hour winds into context. EF4 tornado 190 can completely destroy houses. That is if those 190 mile per hour winds are sustained for 5 to 10 minutes. This would have those winds sustained for hours on end, everything destroyed and annihilated. Now, 190, this is Patricia at its strongest, 215 miles an hour. I mean, it's just clear. This is a very strong storm. And here we are, we can just watch it go through the rest of its life. And Patricia makes landfall as a Category 5 with winds of 160 miles per hour. A very unfortunate thing. What happens if the haters dab back? Well, facts. You'll have to go watch H3H3 for that. Go watch some H3H3 if you want to see what happens when the haters dab back. Because they got a great video on that, man. Great video. Okay, now that we're getting away from the Jake Paul drama, let's go back. Let's talk about Hurricane Dean. I think that was back in 2007. Yeah, there it is, Dean. So let's get started with Dean and go to the archive. Go to loop. My name is Dean. JK lol. No, your name is not Dean. I know what your name is, Hyper Reviews. And so, yeah. Okay, so this is Dean at the beginning of its life. You can see very disorganized, kind of like Patricia was, and really struggling to maintain its thunderstorm activity. Now, that is because it was undergoing something called wind shear. Now, wind shear is when these thunderstorms are not able to develop fast enough because there's a wind speed difference between the top and the bottom of the atmosphere. So, let's say that the lower part of the troposphere has winds of about 30 miles an hour. And you have winds of about 100 miles per hour in the upper atmosphere. What that's going to do is that's going to mean that those clouds are going to get torn away from each other. They're not going to be able to develop well enough vertically. And what that means is that you're not really going to... Hyper Reviews, I'm disappointed. Right into the news. No. Hurricane Andrew. I will talk about Hurricane Andrew if you would like after this. Andrew of 1992. But this was why Dean was not really developing. Now, Dean would not develop for quite a while here until it did get into the Lesser Antilles. But just before that, this is when it became a tropical storm. This was a well-organized tropical storm. You can see the core is well-defined. That is that center there. You can clearly see the rotation. And you can see, as this heads around, lots of dry air to the north. That's getting entrained in and is preventing this from developing properly. And then if we get back to Dean, well... just look at it and you can see here it goes, boom, as it goes in to the Lesser Antilles. It's developed. This is probably a Category 1 hurricane, winds of 80 miles per hour at this time. As you can see, the equatorward outflow, the upper level high around it, and well, this is just a strengthening hurricane hitting Dominica. Now, this is actually... Okay, I'm just Hyper Reviews, just stop. Just Hyper Reviews. Just stop. Do I need to kick you off the stream? I hope I don't. But if you don't stop putting those things in chat, I might have to. Face revival. like if you get the reference. I do not, but hopefully other people do. But yeah, equatorward outflow. And yeah, this is just a bad situation. And this is going to strengthen up some. You can see now that this hurricane, it has an eye around it. And this eye gives it winds of about 115 miles per hour. So this is a Category 3 at this point. A rapidly intensifying hurricane that's gone up to Category 3. And, well, let's see. Got a favorite meme, Cardinal Fan asks. Whew, there are a lot of them out there. I think I like My Name is Jeff. I think I like My Name is Jeff. And that's only because I get to drive my parents crazy with it. But yeah, other than that, no, I don't really have a favorite meme. Cardinal Fan. Okay, we need to kind of stretch away from the Jake Paul drama. There are plenty of channels you can go to that are going to cover that. Go to Scarce, go to Keemstar. Just not here. Here is not the place. And now I have England as my city. I don't know what to do anymore. But, alright, back to Hurricane Dean. And if you have any weather-related questions or comments, please put those there. So I actually have something to talk about. And there we go. This is Dean as it starts to weaken again. And, well, this is probably a Category 2 with winds of 110 miles per hour. Well-defined eye, weak connection. My Name is Jeff is stale. Yes, that's why I like it. That's why I like it, because it's stale and no one likes it, and it drives everyone crazy when I say it. So, yeah. Getting back to Dean. Now, you can see here that small eye. Now, watch this eye as it heads towards Jamaica, and here's why. This is the reason why Dean is weakening. It's going through an eye wall replacement cycle. Now, what an eye wall replacement cycle is it's when these storms go along and they have this eye, and its structure isn't good enough for it to continue to intensify. So what'll happen is a second eye around the first eye will kind of build up and suck away all the energy from that first eye, and will kind of kill it off, which will therefore weaken the hurricane, because the second eye needs to become just as powerful as the first, and that's a very gradual process, and that's why this is weakening. You can even see that little weak band right there, and that is, well, that second eye wall starting to sip away at the first eye. And here we are. This is it when it really weakens. This is probably Category 2, winds of 105 miles per hour. And here's why. Well-defined eye, not too much thunderstorm activity. But if we look at that small eye, much larger now, much larger. That eye wall replacement cycle is almost done. And what that eye wall replacement cycle is going to do is it's going to cause this to really be a system to behold. I mean, look at this. This is going to rapidly strengthen. I mean, you can see Dean right there. Well-defined eye. It's just really, really there. And it's just going to begin to strengthen. You can see now some of that red really stretching around it again. And that does mean that we do have a much more organized hurricane now. So this is going to allow it to rapidly intensify. And it's probably going to get up to a Category 4 around here, if I remember Dean's track correctly. If we do look at this, this is when Dean really starts to strengthen again. Another eye wall replacement cycle. Alright, am I the only one who likes rain more than sunshine? Trying to get a weather-related question. Well, I like rain more than sunshine, only because that means that I have weather to cover. So, yeah, I mean, I got weather coverage. I got stuff to do, because a lot of times it's thunderstorms, and those thunderstorms produce severe weather and tornadoes, which I do have to cover. I personally enjoy it, but I don't enjoy when, I mean, people's houses get destroyed and stuff. That's when things start to get bad. But taking a better look at this, this is it going through another eye wall replacement cycle, and look at how large its eye gets. towards the end of this. So you can see here it's starting to re-strengthen. This is right next to the Yucatan Peninsula. This is a part of Mexico. And so what this means is that you're just problems. This is going to be a problem. Watch. Bam! Straight into Mexico. And that is an issue. And then it's going to re-strengthen, try to rebound its eye. But that's not going to happen. Now, if we want to talk about Hurricane Andrew of 92, I'm going to have to go to a much different website. So, if you'll excuse me for just a second, I'm going to have to get to that website. So, let me just do that. Alright. Alright, this is probably going to be a little bit, so if you have a question or something, just let me know and I will answer it. There we go. Alright, I'm getting there. Oh, this only goes back to 96. Okay, alright, I'm going to have to find this somewhere else. Do you write a script before every daily video? No. No, I don't. I just don't have time for it. I really don't. Because normally, during the week I got school to go to, so I just gotta wake up and get it done. Alright, well, Cardinal fan, I'm getting to Andrew. It's okay. But yeah, I'll have to do that, but yeah. Irene, Hurricane Irene. I'll go over Irene after I go over Andrew. Here, because Andrew was requested first. Let's see. Right, I'm looking for it. I apologize. It's very difficult to find these things. And it looks as if we're probably we're going to Wikipedia, guys. Here, let me just put this up while we wait. Hurricane Mitch. Mitch is even harder to find. But yeah, I'll get to it. Let me just find Hurricane Andrew's satellite loop. Some kid, hold on, you do it before school. I do. I just get up early and do it. You know, I mean, I'm just like, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Here is something that may work at least a little bit remotely. Not credible. Oh, yeah, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a credible source. Okay, let's go back here. Here's Andrew of 1992. And, yeah, this is basically the track for it. Let's get to a better part of this. Where'd this person find it? RAM. Here, I'm gonna have to look at ram.kyra.colestate.edu. Okay, I apologize. I am going to probably... I think I'm gonna have to skip Hurricane Andrew. Here's some good news, though, for you, Cardinal fan. I'm actually making a weather history episode on Hurricane Andrew, so you'll be able to go very in-depth on how Andrew was and see really what was going on there. But yeah, I'm going to have to skip that, and Mitch, for that matter, because I just don't have that data readily available. I only can go back to... I can only go back to really my, 2006. And Irene was in 2011, I think. Yeah. So, since Irene was back in 2011, I can do that. And I can technically go back to 1996, although it's a lot harder to do. I'm sorry, Cardinal fan. I know it's a sad day, but we can go over Hurricane Irene instead for now. If I find time, oh, cool. Okay, I guess he's now heard the part where I'm saying I'll make a deep, in-depth weather history episode. But yeah, here, I'm just gonna get back up and get ready. So, there we go. I need to improve my setup. Okay. So here's Irene. This is Hurricane Irene. So, getting into it, this is a much more organized tropical system than any of the other systems we've gone over so far at this point in its life. Southern side convection, northern side convection, low wind shear, anticyclonic flow. All of these conditions do make up for, well, a good hurricane. Like I said, if you do have any weather-related questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them. After I do go over Hurricane Irene, though, I think I'm going to go over how a tornado and how a hurricane forms. Let's see if you're up for that. If you guys are up for that, just let me know, and if you'd like me to do something else, I'd be more than glad to do that. But looking at Irene, this is it as it gets more organized. You can see it here, going just north. Here it is. Still tropical storm, about to hit Jamaica. No, Puerto Rico, I'm sorry. And when it hits Puerto Rico, what's going to happen? Well, its core is going to be destroyed. So how is this going to become a strong hurricane? This is still something that we're researching today, because we don't know how it did get to this caliber. But it blew up into a Category 1 hurricane just as it was getting over Puerto Rico. And really blew up. It just turned into a massive storm. And you can see here still a hurricane, and you can see that convection about to wrap around it. This is about to become a big storm. Big storm. Alright, well, after I do go over this, left or right Twix? Some kid asks. I, personally, don't care. Left or right Twix? It's kind of funny. I'll admit it's a funny joke from Twix, but I don't know, man. I guess you could say the right is better, if you know what I mean. Or is it the left? I don't know. I forgot which one's Republican and which one's Democrat, so I can't say. And either way, I wouldn't actually give my true opinion. But here's Irene, headed up, and now Category 2. And you can see this because not all red is wrapped around this yet, but there's a well-defined eye, and it's headed into the Bahamas. And that equals Category 2, especially when it's going into the Bahamas. It goes directly over an island. Here's when Irene gets really strong, up to a Category 4 in intensity, actually, at some point here. Yeah, look at this. We get a Cat 3 or 4. Look at how strong this gets. And look at what it does. Irene is now a strong hurricane. Guess where it's headed? North Carolina. Isn't that great? Isn't that just great? North Carolina. And here we are. Yep. North Carolina. And it slams right into it, causing great flooding, very high winds. Alright. Cardinal fan saying, hey, gotta go. See you later. See you later, Andrew. I hope to, well, you know, just see you again at some point. Thank you so much for watching, Andrew, and I hope to, well, you know, see you at some other time. Alright, well, now getting into, well, this part of it, it goes up into New York. And basically screws them up a little bit. Not that badly. Alright, mostly talking to Thomas. Right, and some kid says, whoever you are. Well, who are you, some kid? Who are you? I would like to know. Although, if you're not comfortable with that, I absolutely understand. Then yeah, here it is as it heads out to sea. So now let's get get to some more exciting stuff. How do these things form? So I'm going to actually have to sit down and, so I can draw this illustration. But let's get started with how hurricanes form. So just a second. So I'm going to try and oversimplify this a little bit, because if not, it just gets way too complicated way too fast, which can cause problems. So here's what we get. Okay. Well, some kid says I'm some kid. Okay. Good to know. And here's what we go with. We start with, so let's say that this is South America, and this is the Yucatan Peninsula, this is the Gulf of Mexico, that's Florida, and that's the rest of the United States. And then we have the keys. I'm your father. No, some kid. I am your father. But yeah, if I just draw this map, here's how these form. So we have the coast of Africa, and sometimes you have these blobs of thunderstorms coming off of Africa. So let me actually draw that in yellow. These blobs of thunderstorms. Okay, you know what? You're not actually going to be able to see that. I'll draw this in black. These blobs of thunderstorms coming off of Africa. So these are coming off of the African coast. And here's what you get. You get these headed into the ocean. So you have this blob of thunderstorms, and it's becoming more consolidated. It's being compressed into one space because it's developing low pressure. And what low pressure is going to do is the environmental pressure around it is going to be higher than that. So let's say this is the higher environmental pressure, and that's going to kind of force these thunderstorms to move in this direction. And the reason why is because the high pressure is going to the low pressure. Now what's going to happen there? What's this going to cause? Well, it's going to cause these storms to begin to rotate, and here's why. They're going to begin to acquire a swirl, and that's because they're low pressure. Now, why do these get a swirl? What causes this to become, something that gets a swirl? The reason why this happens is because of something called the Coriolis effect. So if I draw the globe here, and we'll just assume that this is a much better drawing of the globe than it actually is. With Greenland and Iceland and Africa, and just pretend that this is a better drawn globe. And so what you'll have is you'll have the top of the globe, and you'll have the bottom of and you'll have the center of the globe. Here, let me actually get rid of this. And so if we actually just draw a sphere here, and we put this in 3 dimensions, here's what's going to happen. So in order to get around one side of the sphere, okay, do I need to go back out into 3 dimensions? Okay, great. So if we have to go back out into 3 dimensions, here, let's just delete that. Let's go back out to this circle, and let's make this a circle. So if we have this, oh great. Fill is now blue. Now we have this. So what's going to happen is, in order for this to get around, this is going to take less time than this is. Well, not less time, but this is going to have to move. The center of the Earth is going to have to move faster than the top of the Earth to get to the same place. So let's see. This takes 24 hours to make a full revolution, but so does the equator. So the equator is moving faster than the poles. So what does this mean? Well, if we take this vertically stacked and you have these two wind currents, you're going to see this kind of buckle a little bit down this way. You're going to see this kind of buckle up a little bit that way, and that's going to cause a rotation. So that's in the most basic terms of Coriolis effect. Sorry if I over-explained that a little bit. But after this becomes a low here, these lows sometimes aren't closed, which means that they're a center like this. Sometimes their center is still directly exposed to the environment. So normally this part of the circulation, the northern part, is naturally going to be stronger than the southern part of the circulation. And what that means is that sometimes you'll see lows with this kind of center. And what that's going to do is that's going to cause this to, well, not be a tropical cyclone because it still has direct exposure from the environment. Once it no longer has direct exposure from the environment and has a closed center like this, is a low, it'll be classified as a tropical depression. And a tropical depression, TD, has winds of about 35 miles per hour. So that's where we're at with that. So if the system does end up getting stronger, they'll go along and it'll become a tropical storm, TS. And that means that it's going to have winds of 40 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour. No, 73 miles per hour. Alright, Rex50241 says, hey. Hello, Rex. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. Alright, well, here we are. It's me. What's up, T-Bizzle? How are you? And it looks like Tony is here. Alright then, well, now that we have this tropical storm, what happens to this? If this tropical storm continues to strengthen, have a more consolidated center, and really start to get some really low pressure, it'll become a Category 1 hurricane. Rex says, can we discuss games? At some point, we could, not at this current moment. I don't know too much about video games, but, you know, maybe at some point we could. But yeah, we have a Category 1, and this will have winds of up to, of 74 to 91 miles per hour. And T-Bizzle says, I dislike. Rex asks, what does a tornado sound like? Well, I guess I will have to do the honor of playing it for you. So here, you get to hear it yourself. So here, let's enjoy this. Alright, was that beautiful? I hope it was beautiful. So, most storms don't get above Category 1. Most of them don't. This is normally. Can we discuss the state of our world? Can we discuss the state of our world that we're living in and why isn't anime real? I apologize, we cannot discuss that. But most hurricanes don't make it above Category 1. But if they do become Category 2s, they get winds of 92 to 110 miles per hour. How would dogs wear pants? Fax asks. I don't know. Okay. Alright. This is getting really awkward really fast. Rex says that's a fan. Alright, well. So if a storm gets above category 2, which is extremely rare, they become 3s. Category 3s are pretty rare. And so they have winds of 111 to 127 miles per hour. Now, most Category 3s do make it to Category 4. So if you get Category 3, you're probably going to see a 4. Not all storms make it to 4, but a lot of storms do. So if that happens, you're going to get winds of 128 to 157 miles per hour. Can you cry underwater? I don't know. Look it up. We have a world filled with info. And then you do get very rarely, but sometimes, these Category 4s can become Category 5s. These have winds of over 157 miles per hour. Alright, 80 Gaming YouTube says, hey, be flat. Are you free? Why? So yeah, 157 plus. Fun fact, you're not supposed to shoot a hurricane. Okay, well, won't really happen. Here, so let me get on the green screen for people to see that haven't really, that have joined in and haven't really seen yet. But yeah, let's go over this again one more time. Just go over a general summary of what this is. So, you get an African tropical wave. It becomes a tropical system. It has a low. It becomes a low pressure system that is beginning to circulate because of the Coriolis effect. Then you have this low that becomes a tropical depression, winds of 35. Then it becomes a tropical storm, winds of 40 to 75. And then you have a Category 1 hurricane. This is where most storms end up. Winds of 74 to 91 miles per hour. Then you have Category 2s, which are rare. 92 to 110 mile per hour winds are with those. Category 3, 111 to 127 miles per hour. Category 4, 128 to 157 miles per hour. And then 157 plus miles per hour is for a Category 5 hurricane. I brought out the green screen, mate. Yes. Yes, I did, Rex. Yeah, green screen is here. But yeah, that's the general gist of it. Now, if you do have any weather-related questions, I would be more than glad to answer those. If not, I can go over how some hurricanes formed and how they died off. If you would like, I think I'm going to go over Harvey next, if that's what we want. What is this? Well, here, let me show you. Okay, now we do have... message that will be hidden from the world. No one's ever going to see that. Chase, that is a cousin with the fidget spinner collection. Okay, so let's just, well, I guess we've already gone over this. So, let's get back to, well, hurricane stuff. So here, I'm going to get that ready. Just a second. And then we will talk about Irma. Or, I'm sorry, Harvey first. And these exclamations will be a lot faster. I actually have a Hurricane Harvey, Irma, and Maria explained video that'll be coming here within the next few months. So that should be fun. And I actually do have a Halloween special video that's coming. So you guys can get ready for that. Hyper Reviews says, boo! Great job, Hyper Reviews. So here, I'm actually going to open up a program that longtime viewers will know is very nostalgic. There's a lot of nostalgia in this program, and that is EpicPen. And that is from back in my old channel. Okay, so let's get started with Harvey. Because I want to be able to label this better and be able to show you and really define the features of this hurricane so you can see them yourself. So, if we get started, this is the, well, I guess circulation at this time that we see. This is what we see out of Harvey. Harvey is not looking too good. Harvey's actually looking awful. God-awful. I mean, look at this. This is, all it is a thunderstorm complex that has 40-mile-per-hour winds. This really isn't much. Harvey moves along through. It's got a closed center. It's struggling to maintain its intensity, producing a lot of thunderstorms, but there's too much wind shear for it to be able to develop into anything too much. But eventually, we get into other things. So here it is back. Harvey's back with a little bit more thunderstorm activity than before. And Harvey's just struggling. It dies off. It's no longer considered tropical by the National Hurricane Center or the National Weather Service or anyone for that matter. So what happens? Then how is Harvey a thing? Well, it's because it blows up. And, well, we see this. Alright, now, Rex asking, what were prehistoric storms like? Prehistoric storms were, well, we don't have much info on them. The Great Hurricane of 1780 is one of those prehistoric storms, one of the most famous storms in history. The only thing to rival the Great Hurricane of 1780 in destruction is Hurricane Irma of this year in recorded history. Now, obviously, the Great Hurricane of 1780 wasn't in recorded history, but was well documented. Are you a real weatherman? No, I don't have a bachelor's degree in atmospheric science, so no. I haven't gone to college yet, so no. But here it is. And this is really just dead. This is literally dead. And it's just bad. It doesn't look like Harvey's going to become much of anything. So Harvey goes back overseas and becomes a tropical depression again. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm laughing out loud in my seat saying, no, I'm not making a single update on this. This is just going to die. And they say tropical storm, 70-mile-per-hour landfall. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter, Hyper Reviews says. Well, my Instagram is not open to the public, so sorry, no. But Twitter and Facebook you can at MicroCasting. So if you would like to do that, thank you for the plug, Hyper Reviews. But yeah, here we are looking at this. So this is a tropical depression, and it becomes a tropical storm. So this is Tropical Storm Harvey. Tropical Storm Harvey is looking pretty great at this point. And, well, it's looking like something that it's one of those perfect storms. Hurricane Harvey now. This is probably when it became a Category 1. What about Weather Woman? Asks if you gave in YouTube. Well, I am not a woman, so unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. I'll be a weatherman, but not a weather woman. This is just going to die, some kid says. Is that what you think? Where was the biggest hailstone found? Asks Rex. It was found, I think, in Nebraska, if I am not mistaken, by a fellow named Pecos Hank, and it was over 8 inches in diameter. That's about this big. That's a hailstone the size of my head, for context. It was massive. Some kid says I don't have Instagram because it's trash. You know, that's what I thought too. If you dig into it a little more, you'll figure out it's probably not as much trash as you think it is. And then here's Harvey, now a major hurricane. This is when we say, uh-oh, this is bad. Texas is going to get something bad out of this. And then it does something that surprised me. It's struggling to get a well-defined eye out. And here we go. Bam! Well-defined eye. Straight into Texas. Now, as the storm weakens, here's why. Here's why this system is so famous. It has nothing to do with its intensity. This thing stays in like the same spot for days on end and floods everything. But yeah, and so that's in the most basic terms Harvey, in a nutshell. Alright, well, if you do have any more questions or comments, feel free to ask me. Although, while that is going on, I'm going to have a quick message from my sponsor.
Can quality replacement windows really cost $189? Visit FloydGlass.com to download your free homeowner's worksheet to understand your options and to learn what is best for your home.
Thinking windows? Think Floyd Glass and Window.
Okay, we're back. And, well, it's there. Alright, well, now that we're done with that, let's look at Hurricane Irma. Let's look at Hurricane Irma, which, for some of us watching that go to my school, everyone there really knows that I made a huge deal out of this. This was insane. I was so surprised about this. And I was tracking it. I was tracking it in my social studies class. Because, well, my social studies teacher let me. So, yeah. It's pretty great. But this is Irma. And this is it as it starts. Rapidly intensifies into a Category 3 hurricane. And this is it. So, we see this storm intensified to a Category 3. We can do a Category 2 now. This is because it undergoes something called the eye wall replacement cycle. And, well, yeah, this is headed along, as well, a very powerful system. And it goes through like 10 eye wall replacement cycles, which obviously weakens it. Now, it collapses a little bit, and it develops an eye. This is when it starts to rapidly intensify. When you see that big bang of yellow in the satellite imagery, and you start to see that yellow wrapping around, that's when you know you have a rapidly intensifying hurricane. Why are fire trucks red? Because it's a vivid color that is the color of blood, that is the color of aggression, and really is just a color that everyone's like, get out of the way, and it's kind of the color of fire a little bit. And then here's the storm going through an eye wall replacement cycle, kind of in theme with this system. Category 5, bam, bam, kabloom. Category 5. Winds at 185 miles per hour, headed straight into Puerto Rico and, well, Dominica and the islands there. I mean, look at it. Look at this. This is pretty beautiful. But not quite the most powerful landfall of all time. I apologize. I just got something on my phone. Alright, Eddie Gaming, thank you so much for subscribing to me. And, well, yeah, thank you so much. Here's the storm now. I'm getting back on the green screen. And here's the storm back. Really just, furious. And this is it. It's a Category 4 right now. Going through another eye wall replacement cycle. And watch this. This is super weak. This is a really weak hurricane. Cuba's relieved. Dirt flavored chocolate cake or chocolate cake flavored dirt? Chocolate cake flavored dirt. What is blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint! Okay, yay. Good one. Good one, Hyper Reviews. And, look at this. Bam! Category 5. This is probably when Irma looked at its best, in my opinion. Despite it not being quite as strong, much larger, much more symmetric, getting annular characteristics. And then here we are back to playing this straight in to, well, yeah, Cuba. And the U.S. is like, yay, this is gonna kill it. Well, the U.S. was sorely mistaken, because if you watch this, you can just see, re-strengthen, eye, the eye's back. There's an eye on this storm again, headed straight for the U.S. And 3, 2, 1, and bam, straight into the U.S. So yeah, that's the gist of Irma. Alright, well, if you have any final questions, please let me know. If not, I'm going to go over how a tornado forms, and then I'm going to end off the stream. So if we take a look at how a tornado forms, let's get started by literally erasing everything we have created. So let's just erase everything. And let's start with how a tornado forms. So, if we get started, here's how a tornado starts. You get, so let's say this is a map of, this is just a large scale map of the southern United States. Baja Peninsula, California, yeah. And you get a low pressure system that's, well, headed straight in to here, and we have two things clashing. We have warm air from the south and cool air from the north. And these are going to clash, and they're going to produce a lot of turmoil and thunderstorms. Lots of thunderstorms. Bro, paint is obviously better. This is paint! This is the new paint! This is Paint 3D! This is what replaces paint! I don't have much of a choice here, I'm sorry. I'm using it as most basic as it gets. But if these head up and create thunderstorms, well, stuff's going to happen on the ground. And so we'll get into that. So what's going to happen is we're going to talk about wind shear again. So if we start, we'll have the lower levels of the atmosphere having winds, we'll say maybe around 25 miles per hour. And up in the upper levels of the jet, we have winds of 100 miles per hour. Now, this is not all that uncommon, but it's still a good demonstration. This is like a textbook tornado formation. What will happen is you'll naturally get something like this. The warm air and cold air mixing and creating rotation. Alright, well, Hyper Reviews, here's where Chesapeake Bay is. Chesapeake Bay is this bay right up in here. It's on this picture, and it's from Wikipedia. So, credible source, man. Credible source. But yeah, getting back to the tornado formation. After this, you get something in the storm. So if we have a thunderstorm complex, and this is the base of the thunderstorm, this is it up towards the top. And this is a thunderstorm. Let's label the overall structure of it right now. So we have rotation up here right now. T-Biz will ask me, how much money do you make out of YouTube? I've made about 5 cents this month. And we have inflow, and we have outflow. Well, we actually have inflow notch there, and we have RFD, or rear flank downdraft. And so we also have an updraft within the storm. So this is what's going to happen. This rotation is going to get lifted up into the atmosphere and turned vertically like this. It's going to be then brought by the downdraft downward. And you're going to naturally see on this part, which is the inflow notch, you're probably going to see a tornado. Something like this. So that's how a tornado forms. You have the rotation, you have a rotation formed by the pressure difference. You then have that get lifted up by an updraft, turned vertically, and then the downdraft brings it down to the ground. Now here's something interesting about tornadoes. Not all tornadoes, so let's say this is the thunderstorm base. Not all tornadoes are going to be like this, or like this, or like where you're going to see clouds on the ground, and you're going to see the classic tornado with debris flying everywhere and things shooting out of it everywhere, like back and forth. Like, you're not going to see that every time. Some tornadoes are very weak and are called gustnadoes. Some look like this. Very small. But the airstream still makes it to the ground. The airstream is still on the ground. This would still be a tornado, even if you don't see the clouds on the ground. And that's why. And most indications would be shown by that, by there being debris in this general area being lifted up aloft by the tornado. Now, these tornadoes aren't normally as dangerous, but still can lead to some problems. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching this live stream. I hope you did like it. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you didn't, you can hit that dislike button. And I hope to see you in the next stream. Bye-bye!